the issue of development in Iran. I mean, some of our very well-educated colleagues, they actually set up this committee in order to discuss the issue of development, which is one of the most urgent issues in Iran. We as Muslims, how are we to deal with the business of development? I came to discover later that they were very legally minded, you see, and I reminded them of this. I told them once that you want us to tell you whether development is halal or haram. And that was really what they had got in mind. And I told them the answer is very easy and very simple. It is halal, it is not haram. You don't find any text in Islam, in Quran, in Hadith, whenever, to tell you that development is an impermissible, illicit thing. So you can go ahead and do whatever you would like to do. But you have to know that this is not the real problem there. One has to be keener in order to uncover the real problem hidden there. So whether television is halal or haram, this is a legal question, and fuqaha will answer you very simply that okay, it is halal and go ahead. Whether computer is halal or haram, they really do not pay attention to the problems that the development creates for the modern life. That is not their problem. What they look at is this: do we have any text to say that the use of this particular machine, for example, is halal or haram? And since, as you know, then we do not have any evidence as to the illicitness of something, we have to say that it is okay, permissible. So that is their business, and that's how they lead and guide their followers. So as far as legal religiosity is concerned, the problem is solved, I tell you. Or perhaps I should say, I promise you that no problem will remain unsolved. So sooner or later it will find its solution. So, period. But now let us come to the second layer of the structure. The second layer is the ethical or the moral layer. That is another protective belt around the core of the religious experience. This is more sensitive, more crucial, more important. And even from the point of view of religion itself, from the point of view of Islam itself, we have to take it more seriously. Because as you remember, and I reminded you last time, it is the saying of the Prophet himself that I am here in order to develop the morality. So roughly the hadith can be rendered like this. So that is the main purpose. He never said that I am here in order to apply legal rules. Mind you, one of the main followers of the Prophet in our time, when he comes to power, remember, he says it is our main purpose, namely Ayatollah Khomeini, to apply the rules of Islam. That is what he says explicitly. But when you listen to the Prophet himself, he never uses such a concept, and he never tells us this. He says that I am here in order perhaps to apply morality, to bring up a moral, an ethical nation, an ethical people. So developing morality is the main business of Islam, or the main mission of the Prophet of Islam. Therefore, and as I said, this is a protective belt. This is considered as a shell because it is a condition in which and through which you can have a religious experience. For immoral people, having contact or encounter with the supernatural, with the transcendental, is virtually impossible. Therefore, in order to be able to have such an encounter, you have to purify yourself. Therefore, purification, ethical purification, is prior to having the experience. So the ethical shell is on the one hand a protective belt, and on the other it is something which it is like an introduction, a channel which leads you and takes you to the core. So from both points of view you need it, and you have to keep it intact. So here we have got a moral religiosity, and here of course religiosity becomes more general in the sense that you have got a lot in common with other religions. Legal religiosity is good for differentiation, for stratification, In order to differentiate yourself, distinguish yourself from others, you must put your finger on the legal issues. I am this, you are that. I am, for example, I consider this as permissible and you consider it impermissible, and so on and so forth. So there you have got the disagreements, you have got the differences. But when it comes to morality, I mean, we have got a lot in common with other religions. I mean, look at Christians, look at Jews, and look at other religions. Even the non-religious people, in terms of morality, they are much closer to each other than in terms of law, of legal religious rules. This is important, very important. I have actually personally 2 experiences which I share you on this particular issue. One is older and the other one is younger. Let me begin with the younger one and then go to the older one. The younger one is this. When I was a student here, of course, and that was in early 70s, I did chemistry at first. So there was a seminar on chemistry in Cambridge, and I took part there, and my place was the flat of a student who was on holiday. So they gave us as residence for a night or 2. So I was searching the books of the student, of the main owner of the room. So I found a book, The Cloud of Unknowing. I just opened it and looked it up, a few pages, and I found the book so interesting that I don't remember, perhaps I couldn't sleep that night. And tomorrow I went and anyway, I tried to find the book and found it and bought it. So it's now about 30 years that I am familiar with the book. I have read parts of it repeatedly, and well, I have got a long story with the book anyway. That was in Cambridge. Now, when I say that this story is younger, because now that I am living in Cambridge, but in the States, now I am translating the book. And so from Cambridge to Cambridge, that will be the title of the introduction that I am writing to the book. I am translating the book. Why I was fascinated and what interested me in the book was not, of course, the Christian dogma of the book. The book is written, let me give a very brief description of the book. It is a paperback book. It is by any standard a very small book, about 150 pages, and it is written by an unknown author of 14th century Midland, England. So he was a contemplative, a man of esotericism, something, but nobody knows his name, and actually perhaps the title of the book is A Cloud of Unknowing. He wanted to be unknown, I mean, in accordance with the title of the book. So The Cloud of Unknowing by an unknown author. But the whole content of the book tells you that he was a priest, he was a contemplative, he was a solitary man perhaps, and he led a life of contemplation anyway. And this cloud of unknowing means a kind of a cloud between man and God. So we can never become gods, and we can never reach him or find him in this life, maybe in the next life. But it is our duty, according to him, to push hard through the cloud in order perhaps to make it thinner and to become closer to God through our worship, through contemplation and things like that. Now the book is imbued and replete with Christian allusions to Bible and various different religious stories. So all these are besides the point. There, of course, we differ from Christians, and the difference is very conspicuous and very evident. So no Muslim actually quotes Bible at all, or perhaps does not believe in it. I mean, but the